If every school district brought all of their students back for in-person instruction today, I believe we would see a real meaningful and dangerous increase in COVID activity.
New guidelines on reopening schools coming from the governor. How the new recommendation might affect your student this fall, that's still ahead. And we are tracking changes to your weather. Thunderstorms possible tomorrow and some cooler weather. Forecast is next. And we have your first look inside the newly built Amazon Fulfillment Center.
It's devastating to see all of these cancellations and all of our events being canceled.
Pig Out in the Park canceled. Scarywood canceled. The list of canceled events continues to grow. So how is that impacting tourism in Spokane? We'll break it down for you.
What we have observed, however, since early June is certainly cases on the rise. And it has caused a lot of folks in the education system to make request of the governor.
Breaking news this evening, Governor Jay Inslee issuing new recommendations for what schools may look like in the fall. This guidance includes risk levels as well as whether virtual or in-person classes should be issued. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here tonight for KREM 2 News. I'm Whitney Ward alongside my colleagues Tom Sherry and Regina Ahn.
And Mark is off tonight, so as a part of our commitment to back-to-school coverage, we have the very latest today in Washington and North Idaho on how states are determining risk factors for returning to school. Let's start with Washington. Governor Inslee just wrapped up that press conference with the state superintendent to talk about most students across the state doing distance learning this fall. Our Regina Ahn has more on the newest updates.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. So the governor today emphasizing that in high-risk counties, school districts should move to a mostly online or remote learning strategy. This is not a mandate, though. It is just a recommendation. And Governor Inslee announced 3 categories of low to high-risk counties, Spokane being one of those high-risk counties. That means there are at least 75 cases per 100,000 residents. Spokane is seeing over 200 right now per 100,000. And schools in high-risk counties should distance learn and limit those in-person instructions. The governor also recommending canceling or postponing all extracurricular activities like sports or performing arts. Clark and Whatcom fall into that moderate risk category, and that is 25 to 75 cases per 100,000. 9 counties are in that moderate risk area, including Clark and Whatcom, and these areas is recommended for distance learning with possible in-person learning options for elementary students and those with special needs. Now, there are only 5 counties in the low risk category right now: Asotin, Garfield, Jefferson, San Juan, and Waukegan. That means less than 25 cases per 100,000 over a 2-week period. So a hybrid model of in-person and distance learning for middle and high school students are recommended, and full-time in-person learning for all elementary students.
There's been a tradition of local decision making by local communities, where school boards that are democratically elected, just like Chris and I are, they also have responsibility and options, and that this has been a traditional way of making decisions of this nature on a flexible basis. So it's consistent with what we've done in the state of Washington.
So the governor there is basically saying it's not a one-size-fit-all plan for schools. It's ultimately up to school leaders and staff to monitor COVID-19 cases and make those responsible decisions for the safety of students and staff. And the governor also added nearly $9 million in CARES Act funding to OSPI will help fund internet plans and technology needs for low-income families. For more information on all those risk categories we just talked about, you can text schools to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link. Live here in the newsroom tonight, Regina Ahn, KREM 2 News.
All right, Regina, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break from our coronavirus coverage just so we can touch on the weather because, Tom, it was really, really warm today, but you're saying there's kind of a, we'll not call it a cold front, but a cool front coming.
We're going to call it a cool front. We've got 2 things going on. A system from the west bringing us the cooler temperatures, and moisture from the south bringing us some showers and possible thunderstorms. Take a look at this. You can see we've got a fire weather watch in effect because of those thunderstorms and gusty winds. So mostly in central Washington and the lower lower Columbia Basin as well as north central Oregon. Again, cloud to ground lightning, obviously the gusty winds and the tinder dry conditions. Fire weather watch in effect through Thursday evening at 10 p.m. When we talk about temperatures now, we're in the 90s again. 92 still in Spokane. It's 90 in Coeur d'Alene, 91 up in Deer Park. Warmest temps are up in Omak right now, where we're seeing 98 degrees, and we may be over the century mark down in the little town of Pomeroy. And look at the thunderstorm activity that I was referring to. Again, that's moving up through north central Oregon, and then you see the cloud cover off to the west. That's the cool front. That's what's going to drop our temperatures. By Friday, we may only see highs in the upper 70s. So now, tonight, we'll see increasing clouds with an overnight low of 63. Showers at times tomorrow or thunderstorms. We should still get into the low 80s tomorrow, upper 70s on Friday. For the weekend, back to seasonal, comfortable summer weather. 82 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. Checking your 7-day forecast in just about 10 minutes. Whitney?
All right, sounds pretty good to me, Tom. Thank you very much. Well, as we first reported to you last night, Spokane's event, Pig Out in the Park, has officially been canceled and will not come back until 2021. Organizers said in order for that event to have moved forward, we would have had to have been in stage 4 of Governor Inslee's reopening plan, and clearly we are not even close to that. So this event, along with many others across the area that have been canceled, is just hitting our entire local economy incredibly hard. KREM 2's Tim Pham actually dug into some of the numbers to understand the impact here locally. He's joining us now live. Tim?
Whitney, that's right. You know, Pig Out in the Park alone brings in $4.5 million to the local economy. You know, when you think about not just the money spent at the event, but also money spent while shopping, while dining at other restaurants, and then, you know, staying at hotels if you're visiting from out of town, it really adds up. And now that that event isn't happening, it's going to take a big toll on the local economy. So check out this number. Spokane's tourism and hospitality industry brings in $1.3 billion a year for Spokane County. For months, it seems like one major event after another either got postponed or canceled. It started with the NCAA tournament and then P&Q, which both bring in about $20 million. Then we just found about Bloomsday, which brings in about $12 million, and the big one, Hoop Fest, brings in about $50 million, and at least 64 conventions were called off, which means about $38 million in lost revenue for local businesses.
We're taking a huge financial hit, and it's the people who suffer are the restaurants and our shops and our hotels and all the things that we get to enjoy when living here.
One industry taking a big hit is the hotel industry. Hotel Indigo, formerly known as the Otis Hotel, knows this very well. Even though they just reopened last week, they're learning that business is very slow because of all of these events getting canceled that they were relying on. So coming up at 6 tonight, I'll take you inside the new Hotel Indigo to show you how they're adapting amid the pandemic. Live in Spokane tonight, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Well, today we got our first look inside the Amazon Fulfillment Center located out on the West Plains. It is up and running with about 2,600 employees, and they are still hiring. Our Amanda Rowley followed the development of this massive facility from the beginning, and she joins us now with a tour inside.
About 2 years ago, we came across building plans originally called Project Rose, and it was for this site that's now blossomed into the Amazon Fulfillment Center here in the West Plains. I am particularly excited because we finally get to get an inside look and tour of the facility. Come on.
The spiral room, what it does is brings all the totes or containers with all the customer orders are going down to the shipping area. So the way the building is laid out, the inventory is in the upper floors, and the first floor is the outbound, the packing and shipping of the units. 90% of the product coming down is going to become a customer order pack today. It doesn't mean they will be delivered today, but they will be packed today.
Amazon associates sort all the products coming in from vendors and items being sent out to customers. They do this, of course, with the help of Amazon robotic units.
From the moment when we bring the product from the vendor into those shelvings, the Amazon robotics drive get to choose which shelving we're going to use based on the type of product we need to store into the inventory. Now when it goes to the pick side, the Amazon robotic drive knows which item they have to go grab from any of the pods. They drive around, find that pod, lift it, and bring it to the station.
Once all the items you ordered are collected in totes, they end up here at the packing station to become a completed order. The package is then sent off to get a customer label printed and slammed.
Completed packages like this one will come through this area and get transported to the customer. Now you'll know if your package came from the Spokane Fulfillment Center by seeing the letters GEG1 on your label. If I order from Spokane today, is it likely that I would get my package the same day delivered?
Not yet. This is something we need to work to. It is our goal, it is our intent to get to that one.
Amanda Roby, KREM 2 News.
Certainly fun to see all those behind the scenes shots. All right, primary election day here in Washington is officially over, wrapping up last night. So we want to kind of give you the top 3 takeaways after the results have started coming in. So first, in the race for governor, Governor Jay Inslee, of course, holding a majority of the votes right now, likely to take on Police Chief and Republican Lauren Culp. In the race for Spokane representative for Congress in the 5th District, Republican Kathy McMorris Rogers easily advancing to the general election. And only 24% of Spokane County voters turned in a ballot for the primary. Still ahead, though, tonight on KREM 2 News at 6, we'll have an in-depth breakdown of this primary results. In the meantime, for a full list of the latest election results, just text the word elections to 509-448-2000.
And still ahead, we have your other top stories here at 5 o'clock, including all the local events canceled and an update on when Spokane streeteries might be popping up. And last night marked 10 weeks of nightly protests in the city of Portland, many of them turning violent. We hear from the police chief on why the message of Black Lives Matter is being lost among the violence.